That's why they hated Wycliffe and Tyndale and Bunyan and you ought to read the foreword of the translators of the King James Bible to see how much they hated the Pope and the Romish church. That's why they hated Isaac Newton. They hated Whitefield and Jonathan Edwards, because they all believed that the Pope was the Antichrist. Not an Antichrist, the Antichrist. Look, if the devil went into Judas Iscariot, you don't think that the same devil going into the Pope? Why don't you start getting your Bible out and reading it and believing it? Thomas Jefferson said, in every country and in every age, the priest has been hostile to liberty. He is always in alliance with the despot, abetting his abuses in return for protection to his own. It is error alone that needs the support of government. Truth can stand by itself. Thomas Jefferson said, history, I believe, furnishes no example of a priest-ridden people maintaining a free civil government. This marks the lowest grade of ignorance of which their civil as well as religious leaders will always avail themselves for their own purposes. I ask you this question. Why did God bless America in North America and he didn't bless Mexico? Why did God bless the United States and North America, but none of the Central American countries in Central America? I ask the question, why did God bless the United States of America, but none other of the countries in South America? I'll tell you why. Because Bible-believing Protestants and Baptists and Huguenots came to these shores, while the Catholics came to the southern shores of South America and Central America and even to Canada. They all have the same resources we have. They all have the same kind of minerals we have. They have the same kind of mountains and valleys and rivers and oceans. They all have the same abundance that we have of trees and lumber and rocks and gold and silver. But God blessed the people that believe this book. And God cursed the people that ever fell to Catholicism like America's fallen the last 50 to 100 years. Boy, there's so much. You know what? I'd rather hear a deist like Benjamin Franklin than these spineless Baptist ministers today. And I'm skipping a whole bunch of these. John Adams, second president of the United States, wrote to Jefferson, I do not like the reappearance of the Jesuits. Shall we not have regular swarms of them here, in as many disguises as only a king of the gypsies can assume, dressed as printers, publishers, writers, and schoolmasters? If ever there was a body of men who merited damnation on earth and in hell, it is this society of loyols. Two years later, he wrote to Jefferson again, or earlier. What could be invented to debase the ancient Christianism which Greeks, Romans, Hebrews, and Christian factions, above all the Catholics, have not fraudulently imposed upon the public? Can a free government possibly exist with the Roman Catholic religion? The answer is obviously never has and never will. Alexander Hamilton said, they may as well establish popery in New York and the other colonies as they did in Canada. They had no right to do it there than here. Your lives, your property, your religion are all at stake. John Adams said, do you know that the general of the Jesuits and consequently all his hosts have their eyes on this country? Samuel Morse, a personal friend of Abraham Lincoln, in his book, this is the guy who invented the Morse code, okay? In his book, Foreign Conspiracy Against Liberties of the United States, in 1835, he's quoting now, he says, the author undertakes to show that a conspiracy against the liberties of this republic is now in full action under the direction of the wily Prince Metternich of Austria, who, knowing the impossibility of obliterating this troublesome example of a great and free nation by force of arms, is attempting to accomplish his object through the agency of an army of Jesuits. This array of facts and arguments going to prove the existence of such a conspiracy will astonish any man who opens book with the same incredulity as we did. The leaders of the revolution were overwhelmingly Protestant. Only one signer of the Declaration was Catholic, and he was from, guess what state? Maryland. Many still cherish a worldwide view in which popes were regarded as corrupters of religion. Anti-pope festivals were held in many colonies, especially after the Quebec Act of 1774 terrified the colonists into thinking the British were merging them with the Catholics to the north. Effigies of the Pope were paraded around American cities, and flags unfurled which read "No Popery." Especially in New England, ministers used colorful language to denounce the Scarlet Whore and routinely saw papal intervention into European politics as signs of the apocalypse, which they zealously correlated with the Book of Revelation in their dog-eared Bibles. On October 21, 1774, the Continental Congress sent England a note condemning its support for a Roman Catholic religion that, quote, dispersed impiety, bigotry, persecution, murder, and rebellion through every part of the world, close quote. And today, as of 2015, the United States holds the world's fourth largest Catholic population, after Brazil, Mexico, and the Philippines. In 1884, James Blaine, the Republican nominee for president, failed to disavow the remarks of a Presbyterian minister on the same stage with him, who called Democrats a party of rum, Romanism, and rebellion. Blaine went on to lose New York with its huge immigrant population by just over 1,000 votes and thus lost the national election. John F. Kennedy gave a speech specifically disavowing his intent to consult Rome on political matters. And he won, the first Catholic president. And in his funeral, that was broadcast nationally and internationally, you had the Pope sprinkling water on a United States flag, which is against the code of ethics for the American flag. And nobody raised an objection because a Catholic priest did it.